Hello, and welcome to the Wisdom Diary with Pastor Daniel. I'm going to read a wisdom diary, a quote that I wrote some time back, and I'm going to shed some light on it. Here it goes. Meaning is like salt, no matter how great relish looks like. If it has no salt, it is tasteless. In the same way, Jesus is the essence of all meaning, and the life lived without him, no matter how successful it appears, it is just as meaningless as relish without salt is tasteless. There's a gentleman in the Bible, his name is Solomon. Towards the end of his life, there are some remarks that he made that are extremely unusual. And by unusual, I mean when we study the life of Solomon, Solomon had it all. In fact, in the beginning of the end of his life, he begins to talk about the houses he built. He begins talking about the gardens he owned. He begins talking about the, the excuse me. He begins talking about the slaves he owned. Solomon would bring people from afar, celebrities from afar, to just come over and entertain him. Solomon had, talk about wives, talk about money. Everything he ever had, he ever wanted, he had. But he begins to say life is meaningless. He says it is meaningless for people to work hard. It's like chasing the wind. He says it is meaningless. For everything to him became meaningless. I'm sure we've all had an opportunity to look at the beginning of the book of Ecclesiastes. And he keeps calling life vanity upon vanity. If a guy who's broke and has been going through things comes to you and they say to you that life is useless, you may want to say, okay, that's your personal opinion. But if a gentleman like Solomon, who's been a king, who has had everything he ever wanted, comes to you and they say to you life is meaningless, you need to investigate why that kind of person is saying life is meaningless. And thankfully, we see what he means when he says life is meaningless. When we go to the book of Ecclesiastes, and this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3. I'm going to read to you Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 11, particularly from the Amplified. So Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 11, it reads, "He has made everything beautiful and appropriate in its time. He has also planted eternity, in parenthesis, a sense of divine purpose, in the human heart, a mysterious longing which nothing under the sun can satisfy except God." And this is the challenge that clearly Solomon had, because Solomon was a gentleman who was very favored of God, very loved of God, and he was given success. But at the end of his life, he realized everything was meaningless because he began to miss God. God would tell him not to marry foreign women who worship idols, but Solomon would go right for those women. And God normally withdraws from people that begin to do exactly what he said they should not do. So after having everything, this is what they call the American dream: work hard, earn hard, play hard. He had everything that he ever wanted, but he didn't have God. And he ended up saying, nothing under the sun can satisfy. There's a longing, there's a desire that nothing under the sun can satisfy but God alone. Let's come to our lives. You can have the best education. You can have money. You can have the marriage you ever wanted. But I want you to trust me, it cannot satisfy you if God is not part of it. Have you ever been in a situation where maybe you are from bathing and maybe you are still in the bathroom, so you decide to go into your room to pick up a comb, ladies, so that you can go back to the mirror in the bathroom and comb your hair. And then when you go, you are singing a song, there are thoughts going on in your head. Then you end up picking up maybe a lotion. And as you're walking back to the bathroom, you are like, I was supposed to pick up something, but I didn't pick it up. Then when you stand in the mirror, you're like, there's something I was supposed to pick up. Yes, you picked up something, all right, but it's not the thing you're supposed to pick. So there is an emptiness there. There is still some kind of void. There's something you're supposed to get, but you didn't get it. Until you look in the mirror, then you're like, I'm supposed to get a comb. Then you go back and pick up a comb. I'm sure you've had that kind of experience before. That's exactly what happens in life. When we come to this earth, we're supposed to find God first. Now, all these things are okay. You can get an education, you can get a marriage, you can find money, You can get all these things. That's absolutely fine. But like the lady who was supposed to pick up a comb, you will feel so dissatisfied. There will be something about you that is screaming, I got something, but I don't know if it's the right thing I was supposed to get. And that is the essence of Jesus. There is a dissatisfaction until the actual person, the actual desire that is the desire of our hearts is accessed, who is Jesus. And I want to encourage you today, find Jesus. And when you find Jesus, you find true meaning. See you next time.